to bring back to their respective and co-respective councils.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Councilmember Costin, I was fine up until I think what I heard you say is that they would vote as council directed. Some of these positions are trustee positions where you have fiduciary responsibilities, and those responsibilities may be larger than your individual city. Mm-hmm. And so in some cases, you may be in a position of making a decision which is to the benefit of Clark County, for example, and not necessarily to the benefit of the city of Washougal or the city of Camas or the both of them. So I'm a little concerned there that if there's always a question of what you mean by a representative government. Is it something that where a representative can be replaced by an electronic box that takes an instant poll? I don't think so. I think that in a representative government you have people who agree to study the issues, think about the issues, and act in what they think of as the best interests of the overall community, and not necessarily, which may or may not necessarily be what some kind of instant polling data would come up with.
Point of order.
Yes.
I'm sorry, this amendment that Ms. Costin was sharing is not on the table right now, so if we could proceed with the nomination process.
So do we have any other nominations for the C-Tran position?
Sure, Linda Dietzman.
I've already got, I
Okay.
assume that Linda and Molly were already in there since the Camas had
Okay.
voted that
All right.
direction just as default. I put those two in there. Do we have any nominations for RTC other than Molly?
Linda Dietzman.
Okay. So excuse me if I'm a little dense this evening. I'm still trying to figure out where we want to go to with these rather than, do you still care to vote this evening? Or would you like this information sent over to Camas to see what their predication is on where I could see right now if I take RTC and say, okay, show of hands, how many for Molly, how many for Linda, and same thing on C-Tran, and we send that over to Camas. Mm-hmm. And if they say, we're still going to go with what we originally did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that it's appropriate for our council to vote on an RTC representative from another council.
Actually,
Yeah.
you're charged to do that. It says that both our understanding is RTC is similar to C-Tran in that the representatives for Camas and Washougal are chosen by the governing bodies. That would be yourself and the Camas City Council.
And if that ends up being the vote, I mean, it could be a situation where RTC says, okay, Linda's fine with us. So, I mean, we could find ourselves in that situation. We just don't know. But I think if Camas was able to take a vote, I think it's okay for us to go ahead and do that and try to meet in the middle somewhere at some point.
Interesting.
My only question would be if, it's probably not my only question. One of my favorite phrases is from my wife, my only question, and then she goes through 12. If we go through and vote, I'm wondering if it's just going to come out the way that it is, where we've got some number here and some number at Camas, and we add those up, tally those up, and those are the two.
That's not how the bylaws are written, though. So we're going to have to come to some impasse or some discussion between the two cities on this, I think. I don't think they'll take by vote. I think they just don't know the wishes of our council because we haven't made it clear yet. So.
Mr. Mayor? Yes.
I believe the procedure for legislatures in a situation like this is to take the separate appointments and get together with a reconciliation committee between the two councils and arrive at a solution.
I'm certainly willing to take that to them. While they may not have an appointments committee, they may put together a committee just to kind of serve as that for this.
I would add that as much as I understand Jack Berkman's position on this, I don't think that he should be a player in this. The representatives for the Washougal and Camas cities should be chosen by Camas and Washougal.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think that was Mr. Berkman's intent at all in sending the letter. I think they were just wanting to try and, well, influence us.
I would add to what you said about, normally when you have a reconciliation committee, you have two bills to reconcile. The short, what I'm suggesting, I guess, is that in order to have a reconciliation, we probably do need to have a vote.
Yes.
I have no problem with that. Rod?
I'm not sure, maybe you started to allude to this, but if we take a vote, Camas takes the vote, and whoever gets the most votes,
That's my question.
yeah.
That's not, according to bylaws, that's not how it's written. So I think we could come together as statesmen and figure this thing out,
I would,
3-on-3 basketball or something.
I could see it going either way. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, I could look at it from saying that the governing bodies, and if there's 14 votes, X number got X number and where they go, but we could certainly take it step by step and try and move through it as quickly as we can so that both of those bodies have their individuals. Meantime, while we get to that point, if everybody's okay with Molly and Linda still being there for potentially one more meeting each.
That seems appropriate.
Okay, any other, right now for RTC, I have nominations of Molly Kostin and Linda Dietzman. Any other nominations?
Move to close nominations.
I like that. I'm just going to accept it without a second in there. By a show of hands, those in favor of Molly Kostin
For which,
I'm sorry.
for RTC. We're just going with RTC at the moment. Okay. And for Linda Dietzman? Okay. On C-Tran, I've got the oh, I'm sorry, 4-3.
For what?
For Linda Dietzman.
Thank you.
My apologies, Tom and Barbara. On C-Tran, I have the nominations of Linda Dietzman and Dave Shoemaker. Any other nominations?
Move to close.
Thank you. I was just going back to you.
Nobody rescued me.
By a show of hands, those in favor of Linda Dietzman? And 3 there, and those in favor of Councilman Shoemaker? And 4. Okay, let us do some discussing with Camas, get that information to them. I think we've got a couple different meetings scheduled this week with them, so we'll try and get this into some information tomorrow and get it going their direction.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
could you clarify who Camas's nominations are?
Yeah, Camas's nominations were Molly for RTC and Linda for C-Tran, basically continuing on with what was there for the last year or for the last 2 years.
Well,
Yeah.
we understand
And-
they get it backwards a lot, so.
And if someone, you know, I'm not sure what the pass-off has been in the recent years. Years ago, they were 2-year positions. I don't know, so. Well, I know what it was then, at least that's